in Specifi, each viewport can be also adapted. So I can take the grip, and if I want to enlarge, I can enlarge it in order to see many objects inside my viewport. You can enlarge horizontally or vertically, and you can stretch it using the grip. Now we can run 2D, 3D view again, and we can insert other viewports, always a single. I suggest to insert one by one. And then you can choose, for example, if you want a frontal, rear, or lateral viewports. In this case, just note that you have inserted the 3D walls, so the software, when you print your layout, obviously, if you have the walls will cover your drawing. For this reason, usually it's better to use the elevation lines and create an elevation viewport instead of frontal or lateral. In our case, we can also create a frontal view because in front I left my wall opened. Okay, so I didn't insert the frontal wall, and in this case I could insert also a frontal viewport. I can insert also an isometric viewport, and as you can see, when I select isometric, as we are inserting a 3D viewport, it doesn't permit to choose anything about scale or other properties. The scale will be set to fit automatically because the isometric viewport are not scale viewport, cannot be scaled. And I just need to press OK. And the software will ask to choose the two opposite corners to identify just a rectangle, suppose. This is my first viewport. And I can run the command again, and I can choose, for example, the second one. And you can see the two viewports just inserted. If you try to run a preview of your print, okay, I can choose continue, and I choose preview. By default, our viewport, especially for isometric viewport, will be printed in hidden mode. And the border of the viewport will not be printed by default. If I want to print the border, I have to work on the layer because each viewport is inserted into a specific layer and 500 M view. And you just needed to change the plot style of this layer, because this layer by default is a no plot layer. So you just needed to choose to print also the border. As you can see, we have our plan view scaled 1.50, the detailed view with a scale 1.10, and the two viewports, isometric viewports with a fit scale. As you can see, we don't see any color, but in this case, the shade plot is hidden. If I close and I press cancel, if you want to print a border also, you can open the layer properties and 500 paper space, we can filter 500 M view. You can see that it has been set to no plot. So I just have to activate on the plot column the printer. And I can close. And if I want also to apply a different shadow, I can select my viewport and I can call the property of the viewport. And here below we have a property shade plot. As you can see, it has been set to legacy hidden. I can open and I can choose, for example, realistic, as we did before in the model space. For the second one, I can choose another shade plot. In this case, I can choose maybe shades of gray or sketchy. Okay. And now I can run print command again. And I can just call a preview in order to see what's happened. Maybe it will take more time than before to generate the preview because it has to apply the colors also. You can see that now we can see the borders and of our viewport because we changed the 500 view property, and we can see also the shadow applied, the shadow style. In this case, it's just a preview. Sketch is not so good. So I can close and I can press cancel. In this case, I can change maybe into, instead of sketchy, maybe conceptual or shade of gray. In order to create a better layout.